to my channel, everyone, and happy Derby week. It gets really hectic and crazy around here where I live during Derby week because it is the entire week of festivities and fun and horses and lots of other things that go on from down at the waterfront all the way over to Churchill Downs. So welcome back to my channel. I'm Jen at KetosisMom. Today we're going to be going over a couple of different things. I am going to hit some things from last week, unfortunately. I do want to go over it today just to clear the air. I also want to go over this week some non-scale wins, and I would love to hear what some of your all non-scale wins are below down in the comments as well. Make sure that you've already tapped that subscribe button as well as the bell, and we're going to go ahead and get started today. All right, we're going to go over a lot of different things today, but I'm going to do something a little different for you all this time. I am going to be giving away or gifting away an Amazon gift card to one of my commenters down below in this week. I'm going to ask you guys a couple of different times throughout this video to put your comment down below or put comment down below to enter for the giveaway. This is not associated with anyone, not YouTube, not any brand. This is me specifically wanting to thank you guys for all of your comments down below, because whether you know it or not, whether you love my content or hate my content, it is all engagement and it helps boost my videos. So go ahead and keep on commenting, y'all. The first thing I'm going to go over today, and I want to talk about some non-scale wins this week. Now, as you all know, I have to go back down to the 2.5 milligrams of Zepbound from the 5. Yes, because there's a shortage. Dun, dun, dun. Everybody knows that there's a shortage right now. That's why everybody's all over the place like chickens with their heads cut off trying to figure out what they're going to do. Whether you have the insurance or you don't, or you might, people are still kind of here, there, and everywhere. I was in my rheumatologist office today giving my handy dandy blood and having my nice little bracelet that they check 20,000 times while I'm there to make sure that I am the right person before they do anything with me. They were even talking about how they have other patients that are on Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, Saxenda. Basically, everything across the board when it comes to weight loss is in shortage, and it is a known thing right now. People are driving from the state that I'm in across the line trying to fill things. So it's just here, there, and everywhere. So a couple of non-scale wins that I want to go over this week, and I will go over my week 10 results, which was my last week, to tell you guys how much I lost a little later in the video. And if you would like to just skip ahead to that and skip everything else, you can go down below, and there is a timestamp down below that you can skip ahead to different sections that you might be interested in. You're welcome. So today, like I said, I am going to give away a $15 Amazon gift card to one of my commenters down below, and I will announce who gets that next week in my video, and then try and contact the winner to see what they got with their Amazon gift card. So again, comment down below what some of your non-scale wins have been throughout the weight loss process. I don't care which one you're taking. I don't care what you're taking. I don't care if you're not on anything right now. Tell me some of what of your personal non-scale wins have been. For me, last week, I also went over some skincare that I was using, and a win for me are these arms. Yeah, my arms are getting smaller. My arms are getting tighter. I know that people are going to say that's really a scale win. It kind of is, it's kind of not. I'm measuring. I'm also using different kinds of skincare and different devices trying to work on this so that I can wear these lovely, sleeveless dresses everywhere during the summer, because it gets hot here. It does. It just does. It gets hot. So that's one of my non-scale wins. I also was hoping that I would get the blood work back from a rheumatologist this morning. I've been waiting for this appointment because, number one, I wanted to get the blood work to see if some of my inflammation markers are going down while on the tirzepatide, because I've been feeling a lot better with my autoimmune treatments while on the tirzepatide than I did when I was off of the tirzepatide. However, the non-scale win that I got today was that I do not have to go back and see him for 6 months. I normally have to see him every 3 months, and something usually happens where I've got to see him before the 3 months. So today I'm doing so well that I don't have to go back for 6 months, which is awesome. So those are my non-scale wins, and I can't wait to see what some of yours are down below as well. Another thing I'm going to go over today, because I received a nice little email about how I cannot be partial or impartial or non-biased because I am a Weight Watchers affiliate. I've said this in previous videos before since I first started this. However, I know that a lot of people just started watching me and might not have gone back and watched any of those videos. I am not a Weight Watchers affiliate. I am not a Weight Watchers influencer. They do not pay me to tell you all that I use their Weight Watchers clinic. The link that is down below that I provide every single week is my own personal referral to you because it's what I use. It is the exact same thing as if you were to go to any store, buy something, and they say, hey, how about you refer your friends? I am not an affiliate of them. So thank you for the emails accusing me of that. If Weight Watchers would like for me to be an affiliate or influencer for them, I would absolutely love to. So please contact me so that I can sign up today. The other thing that I will also say is that evidently there is a problem with me all reading to you. Yeah. Evidently, there's a problem with me all reading things that I have found. I'm not really sure if there's ever been a court case about someone reiterating and reading something, but I guess we'll find out because I'm going to read some more to you guys today. This was sent to me after my last video because I was unable to see this. I could not open this. It was not available to me. I don't know if it was a state thing, if it was a different site, but this was sent to me, and then I put it in the comment section after my last video posted. However, I know that most people do not go down in the captions or the comments and really look for any of that, so I am going to read this to you today. This is from the Occupational and Professional Licensing of Department of Commerce for this state. I am not going to say their name because evidently they get very offended by me saying their name, but I will link it down below and you can read it for yourself as well. However, I will be reading it verbatim because reading to people is not a crime. I am also going to go through and after this, do a little bit of explanations of how you can also look up things for literally anyone. For some reason, there was a misunderstanding of my last week where I think everyone thought that I was going to start going through all of the hundreds of thousands of places that offer compounding. However, I randomly picked one and I rolled with it to see what the experience was, how it happened, and then report it out to you with receipts. Got all those receipts, guys. It's how it happened. So everyone feels that I have some type of vendetta towards one specific one. I really don't. It could have been any of them. And what I would like for you all to do today in the comments, and this also goes into the giveaway drawing, is I want you all to use all the different sites that I've discussed with you all, the BeSafeRx, the FDA website, the warning letter list, And you can even just Google name of the brand company and the numbers 483. I would love for you all to put down below who you looked up. Put number 1, this is who I looked up, the name of whoever it is. Number 2, tell me something interesting that you found on any of those websites. And then number 3, put the link to where you found it because you need those receipts. So 1, 2, 3 down below. I do not care who you look up. I do not care if you look up Novo Nordisk. I do not care if you look up Eli Lilly. I do not care if you look up one of the hundreds of thousands of people compounding whatever they're compounding. I don't care if you look up somebody who's providing peptides. Look up someone using the links that I provided last week, because the point of last week that seemed to faze many people was showing the public how to look things up for themselves. And anyone who has a problem with the public being able to look things up for themselves about them or their company or their drug does not have public interest at best heart. Okay? So I can't wait to see what you guys find out down below, because I know that there is something on everyone. Trust me. If you look at those 483s, it may not be an FDA warning letter. You can look to see if there was ever an FDA warning letter. What's really great about the FDA website with any type of letter or warning or advisory or inspection letter that they have, they typically also give you what is called a closeout letter to review as well, to say that they did in fact fix this, this, or this, or they've gone back and they've looked to make sure that they're doing this, this, and this, or that it's ongoing. You know where it stands, and you can even request from the FDA additional information if you would like it as a member of the United States public. So, we're gonna go through this one. I will say one thing that I do not like about state inspections. They do not tell you what happened next. What happened? What was done? Was anything changed? Was it not changed? Was the license removed? Was it not removed? Did the company just change their name? What happened? And I do think that that is lacking in a lot of the states when they're going and doing these inspections. I do think that it should follow a process of showing people, here's what we looked at, here's what we found, here's how they fixed it or didn't fix it, and then now we're going to close out. We're going to come back in so many months or so many years to check it again to make sure that it is staying in control. Now, what I'm going to read you today is an official inspection. This is in fact public, even though I could not find it before. And so I'm just going to read to you all. And as I read, I don't have to tell you what to think. I don't have to tell you how to think. You can think for yourself, and you can think to yourself, is that somewhere that I want to take something from, or am I not? That's up to you, because guess what? Everyone's going to have a different opinion here. It's like having a yogurt at work. This is what I'm going to compare this to. Let's say you go down to the cafeteria, you open up your yogurt at work, you sit down and you're about to eat it, and then you get an urgent call, you have to go somewhere else. You leave your yogurt right there. There's 3 different responses from people when they come back for that yogurt. Number 1, and put down in the comment below if you're a number 1 person for the yogurt. They're gonna come back and still sit down and eat that yogurt. It doesn't matter who has been in the room, coughing, crouping, putting stuff in it, who knows, they don't care, they're gonna eat the yogurt. It doesn't matter if it's been sitting there 30 minutes, it doesn't matter if it's been sitting there 2 hours, they're eating it. Number 2, the second type of person is simply gonna go back and say, this is not cold anymore, I'm going to close the foil back down on it, put it back in the fridge, I'll come back and eat it later, or I'll take it home. Okay? Put down in the comments if you're person number 2 with the yogurt. Person number the yogurt is going to say, oh, I can't believe I left this out the whole time. It's room temperature now. It's no good. They're literally going to throw it away. Okay? So remember that 1, 2, and 3 as we go over what I'm about to read. And think about which one you would be with that yogurt, especially at a workplace. Okay. This says, during the closed door inspection, the following violations were found. A total of 37 medications, compounded preparations, and compounding ingredients were found in the pharmacy stock that were either expired or had indeterminate expiration dates. Okay? The pharmacy had not recorded the compounding refrigerator temperature since December 12 of 2018. This report is from, I believe, 2019. Let me look at their signatures on the back. Yes, April of 2019. So, multiple products were found that were repackaged that used the manufacturer's expiration date, not the 1 year beyond use date required by USP for repackaged medications. Many were also found that lacked lot numbers. Most were either unit dose syringes or multi-dose pack cards. Employees were handling medications being put in dose pack cards without gloves. Okay. During the automated inspection, violations of the following rules and regulations were found. The pharmacy failed to create policies and procedures for the following topics: safety, security, accuracy, patient confidentiality, malfunction, training of personnel, pick or designee assigning access to the system, addressing situations in which medications removed from the system remain unused and must be secured or accounted for, addressing situations in which medications removed from the system that are wasted or discarded and must be secured, and quality assurance procedures. They did not create policies and procedures for any of that. Okay. During the non-sterile compounding inspection, violations of the following rules and regulations were found. The temperature logs were maintained and available for inspection. However, the pharmacy failed to log from December 12, 2018 in the non-sterile compounding room. During the sterile compounding inspection, violations of the following rules and regulations were found. The pharmacy's sterile compounding SOPs did not address facility, equipment, storage, or preparation. The pharmacy engages in the compounding of low-risk and medium-risk IVs. The pharmacy has an ante-room, buffer room. In the buffer room, there were two. It says LAFW and CAI. The CAI was being used with the isolator open. While the pharmacy does have SOPs, the pharmacy is not following the required SOPs. An SOP is a standard operating procedure. So when we were just talking about that yogurt, in an SOP for an employee, if they were handling the yogurt and there was an SOP for it, the SOP would tell you what you do if you've opened the container and it has sat there and not the right temperature. So it has sat out with an open container. Just because the manufacturer's expiration of that yogurt is not until a month from now, that's also an expiration if it's not opened and it's at the right temperature. Okay? That is what an SOP would tell you if you had one. A technician was wearing cosmetics and nail polish while compounding. Gowning and hand hygiene was performed in the following order. Wash hands, stepping on the clean side of the line of demarcation. In a clean room or an ISO area, you're going to have clean line, dirty line. Once you become clean, you're not supposed to step back over that line. You're supposed to keep moving forward in your gowning process into the clean room. So, wash hands, step back on on the clean side of the line of demarcation, put shoe covers on, step back over to the dirty side of the line of demarcation, head cover, mask, gown, stepped back over to the clean side of the line of demarcation, antiseptic hand cleaner. A nail pick was not used by a technician. The other technician stated they share a nail pick. Gown did not fully cover outside clothing at the neck. Gown was too small for one of the technicians. Antiseptic hand cleaner was not used in the buffer room prior to gloving. Alcohol was not allowed to fully dry before compounding began after spraying gloves. Okay? Cleaning of the hood did not occur before the compounding began. Pharmacy was using a wipe that sheds in the hood. Pharmacy stated that monthly cleaning is occurring. There was not any documentation to substantiate this. Pharmacy is using items that shed. They also have a vacuum in the clean room and a steam mop. Steam mop promotes water. Items coming from the outside pharmacy area were not wiped down before they entered the anteroom buffer or the ISO 5 environment, which is your clean area. There are items in the ISO 7 that were not caulked or sealed. There was a line of demarcation between the dirty side of the anteroom and clean side of the anteroom. It was observed that several times the line was crossed without garbing. The master worksheet was missing the packaging requirements. The compound recorded was missing a master formulation record reference. The facility was not observing USP 797 beyond using date regarding the reconstitution of vials. Facility had a chart that they referred to. Information came from, and it says trestles, Trissels. Sterile water and D5W 1,000 milliliter bags were hanging in the hoods. When asked, personnel stated that they were there until they were used. Then a new one is opened. Such bags should not be hung over 24 hours. Pharmacy was not using 70% IPA wipes to swab the tops of vials. They were spraying the tops and entering them before completely dry. The facility does not perform manipulations with hazardous drug, radiopharmaceuticals, and allergens, although they had compounded with, I'm going to butcher this one, ganciclover, which is a cytotoxin. Pharmacy was not using any precautions when compounding these compounds. Labels were missing the names of all ingredients, i.e. their solution, despite this being a compounded preparation. Batch labels were missing the unique lot number assigned and beyond use date. Whew. Okay. It goes on to go through the respondent's license shall be publicly reprimanded for the conduct described. Respondent shall undergo periodic inspections conducted by the division, which I've not been provided another one by anyone, just because this one was provided to me. There is a fine. Respondent shall pay a fine of $9,450 to the division. This was a state administrative code within 90 days of the effective date of this stipulation and order. So, the reason I asked you guys about the yogurt, whether you're 1, 2, or 3, okay? You're all different people. You would represent different workers and different workers' opinions of what should be done with that yogurt. That you need an SOP to tell you what happens. In pharmaceutical manufacturing, and I'm going to state this again this week because, again, last week, someone thinks that I'm saying that I worked in a pharmacy. I have never said that I've worked in a pharmacy, ever. Pharmaceutical manufacturing, like what Eli Lilly does, is nowhere near what any pharmacy does, is held to, the standards, the quality requirements, the ISO rooms, the venting systems, the facilities management, the QA, quality assurance oversight, the quality control testing, they are completely separate things. In pharmaceutical manufacturing, you have what is called a material qualification packet, and that sucker's big. It qualifies every single raw material, especially if it's in the final drug product, and it tells manufacturing what it is, at what temperatures it's stable, if you open it and you have an open container, how long whatever that raw material is good for. Is it good for the next hour? Is it good for 24 hours? Is it good for the next month? Is it good for the next 6 months? It all depends on what the solution raw material is, as well as what kind of container it is in, because you can have something that is called extractables and leachables. You have to do in manufacturing what is called an E&L study to determine if what the solution or raw material is being held in after a certain point, or after it reaches a certain temperature or a surface area of a tube, whatever it's touching throughout the manufacturing process, or just sitting on a shelf in its container, how long it is good for. That is going to be placed into all of this. So for instance, in this, it said that the bags hanging in the hood should not have been there opened more than 24 hours. That may have been this inspector's previous experience where they worked. It may have been a known, thing that, hey, this is no longer sterile after it's been opened if you didn't use it all. That I have no idea as far as in a pharmacy, but I do know in pharmaceutical manufacturing that every single thing, even your consumable items, which is like gloves and the PPE that you have to fully dress out in to even be able to go into manufacturing, period. Everything has an expiration date, and it is not always the expiration date that the manufacturer has put on the item, which brings me to that yogurt. That yogurt has an expiration date of a month from now. However, you opened it and you left it sitting out on a table and it came to room temperature. An SOP would tell you what has to be done with that yogurt beyond that point for human consumption. Okay, so I wanted to break this down for you all. Now, I'm reading. I literally read verbatim. Yes, I use Weight Watchers. Yes, I use Zepbound. No, I do not use compounded drugs. I have never used compounded drugs. If you use them, great. If you love them, great. I don't care what you guys use. The point of my video was to say, number one, no, I do not think that that drug should have miraculously arrived at my home without any type of medical history checked on me to make sure that the questionnaire filled out online was in fact me. There's also state guidelines around telehealth services. You all can look this up as well for your state to see what your state guidelines are, because I also found out where I had a full intake with Weight Watchers that was over an hour-long conversation with the weight loss specialist, with the doctor, and talking about what this drug is, what it's going to look like, what does long-term look like. I had to submit all of my medical paperwork with a chart. They would not take screenshots. I had to download PDFs of my medical record, my Quest testing, blood testing, for them to review against my ID and have a full discussion with me, because I am in the state of Kentucky. In the state of Kentucky, an online questionnaire is not a sufficient new patient or follow-up patient intake for prescribing anything. Okay? The second point of my video last week that just flew right over a lot of people's head was I want everyone to be able to find things themselves. You can go to the state. You can look up a license on a state. You can look up if they have anything like this, which is, like this, which is an official stipulation, order, disciplinary action, everything on here. Now, it did say that they were going to be responsible for additional investigations. However, I've not seen any of that anywhere. I cannot see anything when I go to look up their license. But someone could. Someone definitely could, because they found this and they sent it to me. However, they sent this to me to try to prove that they were a compounding company, which is fine. They're creating compounds. I don't want to say in what method, because by me reading things to my audience, it ruffled feathers. So you all should be able to look up things. So this is what I want you to do. Like I said before, number one, pick any company. If you're thinking about using a new compounding company, pick them. Pick them apart. Pick them, look them up, see what you can find on them. Tell me on number one, tell me who you looked up. Number two, using all of the links that I've provided throughout videos. I don't care where you look it up. I honestly also do not care if you find it on Reddit, on a social forum, whatever you have found on them that you find interesting or that you did not know about them, put as your number 2, and as number 3, put the link of where you found it. Today, I looked up something on Novo Nordisk because the girl who took my blood today told me that she was on Wegovy, and now Wegovy is in shortage. So I wanted to see, what's going on with Wegovy being in shortage, other than everybody who was on Zepbound is rushing over to go back to Wegovy or go get on Wegovy because they thought that they could get it. Whereas getting Zepbound is few and far in between, and when you find it, you gotta get it, right? So I did find there's a 483 out on Novo Nordisk. Now, when you go to the FDA's website, there is going to be a lot of things that are grayed out for you. There is. It does not have to be public knowledge. They do not have to discuss it with anyone. It will give you an overall picture of what is going on. The FDA website also has where there's follow-ups, there's closeout letters, and you can, like I said, also request information from the FDA on anyone. I'll be honest, I don't even know who makes, is it Saxenda? I'm gonna have to look that up, put it over here for you guys before I post this video. I don't care who you guys look up. I don't care if you look up your local pharmacy that's owned by someone local to you. I want to see that you know how to use information provided to say, here's who I looked up, here's what I found, here's the link to where I found it, boom, comment. That was the point of my entire video. No, I am not a compounding person. No, I've not done compounds. That has absolutely nothing to do with it, and I honestly don't care if you do. If you do compounds because your insurance doesn't cover the brand, I've told you guys 20,000 times, I get it. I do. I get it. The cost is absolutely ridiculous. Maybe that's what we need to cover on some of our upcoming elections. Who the heck is going to go get, all the drug prices down for everybody and get these insurance companies in order? That's what I want to know, because nobody's going after them. Nobody's going after them except Bernie Sanders. That's it. Little Bernie. Okay? So, the other thing I want to go over with you guys, and this one's a good one. If you have not called your insurance company, okay? I don't care if you think they'll cover you. I don't care if they are covering you to get this. If you have not called them and physically spoke to them, you need to. I'm going to tell you why. When my endocrinologist was submitting and it was denied 3 times, by my local endocrinologist office. My CVS Caremark told me they're not submitting it properly. They're not submitting your medical record chart with the PA. Then when they did submit it together, they were submitting it for mounjaro and not Zepbound, which I am not diabetic. Therefore, insurance is not going to approve it then. The third time they submitted it, the information on the PA did not match the medical record chart. Therefore, it was denied again. It took me going to Weight Watchers Clinic, who I'm not an affiliate or influencer for yet, to be able to get it approved. And I told them, hey, here's the problem I'm having with my local endocrinologist office. I've talked to CVS Caremark. My insurance will cover this for me. I do meet those requirements. I promise you, making a phone call to your insurance is not as scary as you think. I also called my insurance this last week because we all know how hard these drugs are to find right now. I filled my prescription on April 17th, the same day that it was due for me to take it. I did not want to wait the 21 days, which means I would have taken my last injection and I would be sitting with nothing, starting all over trying to find it, to be able to fill it again. I discussed that with CVS Caremark. They get it. They understand. They lifted the hold of the 21-day mark for me to be able to go ahead and fill the prescription because I had found it somewhere. I found it somewhere. They had it. I had Weight Watchers Clinic send the prescription over. However, until CVS Caremark lifted that hold for them to be able to cover it through insurance, I was going to have to pay full price myself. Okay? Call your insurance and ask them these questions. Ask them what's needed. Ask them if they'll lift the hold for you to fill it early because it's in shortage. A lot of times, unless you just filled it yesterday for a 28-day period, or you filled it just 7 days ago and you're wanting to fill it again, they're going to say, I get it, it's in shortage, let me work on this for you, we're gonna go ahead and clear this up. Now, I had found it randomly online, and they were going to allow me to get 3 months. However, CVS Caremark would not allow me to get 3 months or 84 days worth. I'm only allowed to get 28 days at a time, which I also think is a little insane. I think that when people find this, if they've got 3 months worth that they can get, the insurance should be covering it for them to be able to get it. I did speak to a very nice woman. I believe her name was Donna. She was one of their senior, people trying to lift this for me. She did tell me, hey, if you filled it last week, it's not going to let you fill the 3 months because the system is going to think that you just filled 3 months, and it's not going to let you do it for 63 days from there. I have never filled 3 months. I wish I could fill 3 months full. I feel like a lot of other medications, people are allowed to do that 90-day, fill. These are 84 because it's in 28-day increments. I really wish that was something that could be changed. However, I also know that if people were filling it in that 3-month increment, which I know that some people are, because I've seen photos of people's freezers where they've got like a 2.5, a 5, 3 boxes of 7.5, 2 boxes of 10. And it seems to be that if your physician changes your dosage on the prescription, that the insurance may still allow you to fill it even though you just filled it, which I find very interesting as well. I'm not sure why I wouldn't be able to fill a 2.5 and then 2 weeks later fill a 2.5 again without approval. But if I had a prescription for a 5 and a 2.5 and a 7.5, I could fill all of that on the same day. That seemed a little off to me. I did see that in one of the group forums that that's what someone was doing so they could kind of set themselves up for the next few months. I don't blame them. Great for them that they found it. It's very hard to come by where I am right now. I spend hours on the phone calling around to try and locate someone who even has the 2.5 because it seems the 2.5 is still what's out right now. And with the FDA quoting from Eli Lilly that it's going to be sometime after Q2. If I was a betting person, which I obviously am on horses anyway, but if I was a betting person on like when this shortage is going to be over, I'm not going to bet until sometime into next year. That's just me working in pharmaceutical manufacturing before. I know that Eli Lilly does have additional sites that they're getting up and running. I do know that they have also, they're contracting with contract manufacturers. However, that takes time. It takes the FDA time to go through inspections and approvals to become operational. And when I was working in pharmaceutical manufacturing, each thing that you submit to the FDA, they have a 6-month window to respond. Now, obviously, they did not take the whole 6-month window, but they do have that allotted time to respond to that or to send someone in. So that's really all I have for all of that today. Those are my lectures. Those are my things. I'm really looking forward to seeing what you guys find because I know there's stuff on Eli Lilly. I have like pounded them in previous emails before, in previous videos before. I know there's stuff on Novo Nordisk because I looked at it today. I'm going to look up to see who makes the Saxenda because I want to look at that as well. There's other things that Weight Watchers also prescribes that I might go look at what those are and look what they have going on. A lot of you might be looking up random compounding facilities because there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. Feel free. I cannot wait to see what you guys find down below. And again, I'm going to pick one person from my comments randomly. I am literally going to put everyone's name into a random computer finder. It's going to pick one person. The Amazon gift card is from me personally. It is not associated with YouTube. It is not associated with any brand. It is not sponsored in any way, shape, or form. Okay? And then you guys can tell us what you guys got with your Amazon gift card. So I'm going to go into my week 10 results now. And this is a trend that I've been seeing. Typically, I do my injection on Wednesday morning, and I will show you my injection from this morning in a video right after this. I personally document each one of my injections on this video. Originally, they were for my own documentation purposes and vlog so that I could go back and say, okay, wait, where did I put this? Did I put it in this leg? Did I put it in this arm? What happened? And then you guys are really just liking these videos. So I still do it just so that you guys can see that I am in fact using Zepbound and I'm not using anything else. That might also be important to me in the future as well. So for what I'm noticing, I take the injection on Wednesday. By Saturday or Sunday, I usually get down to around 3.5, I'd say 3.4 to 3.6 pounds lost. But then, by the time Wednesday comes around again and I weigh myself again 1 week later, it's usually around 2 pounds lost. So for week 10, I lost 2.2 pounds, and on the weekend, I was down 3.6 pounds. So I started thinking about this, and I would love for Eli Lilly to do a study on this. If anyone over there on the research team is looking for something to do, here's one for you. I would love to know if breaking up the injections, let's say on a Wednesday and then a Saturday night, Wednesday morning, Saturday night, would last longer or have better results than just taking one injection. And what I mean by that is everyone obviously still starts at 2.5. After 2.5, they take you to 5. Does it make sense to take all 5 on Wednesday, Or does it make more sense to take 2.5 on Wednesday and another 2.5 on Saturday night? Would that result in more weight loss? Then maybe if you went up to 7.5, maybe you take a 5 and then you take a 2.5 Wednesday, Saturday. Then if you go up to 10, you take 5 and 5, and so on and so forth. I would love to see what the results are doing it that way, or if there's more adverse reactions or adverse effects that way. Again, never tried it. Not gonna try it unless you guys do a clinical trial study on it that shows that it's the way to go. But I am curious as to why on the weekend I'm usually right underneath 4 pounds lost, and then another 2 or 3 days later, two-ish of that comes back before I officially log the weight for the week. Because that has been multiple weeks now that has happened. So again, originally in one of my first videos, I was a little miffed with Weight Watchers Clinic for asking me to weigh on a daily basis or at least every other day so that they could trend the weight loss better. I was only weighing on Wednesdays before I did my injection, and I was really happy doing that because I didn't feel like I was obsessing over it. But I do get the method behind why they're asking for that, because your weight can fluctuate constantly. Stressors, environment, cycle patterns, eating habits, using the restroom habits, drinking water, working out, not working out. It's going to fluctuate, and they're wanting to see that fluctuation. So I do get that, but I have noticed a trend. So what I'm going to do is next I'm going to show you guys the injection from this morning.
As always, I like to ice anywhere that I'm going to do my injection. That's my own personal preference that I do. I started doing that with my Cosentyx injections, and I just kind of carried it over to this with Zepbound as well. You always want to make sure that you are cleaning very well with the alcohol wipe. Let it fully dry before you do your injection, and then you're just going to click, wait for the second click, and voila, you are done.
One other thing that I do want to also go over is someone also emailed me this, which is the guidance from the FDCA for a 503A pharmacy. And I did state this in the comments last time. I am very curious as to how many of the compounding facilities are following number 8 in the guidelines, as well as number 10 in the guidelines, because some of these facilities, I think this might be the only thing that they're compounding and sending out. And so it does say that it only needs to be a certain percentage of what they're compounding, and that it should definitely be a certain percentage of what they're sending outside of their own state. So I don't really know who is responsible for looking at that. I know that the state is typically responsible for looking at that. However, I also had comments from people saying, nowhere on the FDA website does it tell you if someone is 503A. This is the FDA website. This says 503A. Okay. Thank you, and you're welcome for your reading lesson today. Okay, we have done today's shot, and I'm feeling really, really good. I have my positives of my arms are getting smaller. I have my positives that I do not have to go see my rheumatologist for another 6 months, which is the longest that I have ever been without seeing him. And knock on wood, and everything that there is to do, holy water, sage, I don't know. Whatever needs to ward off anything bad happening for me to have to go see him before 6 months, because I tell you what, guys, the specialty co-pays every time I go are just not really that great. They're not fun. They're not fun at all. I'm kind of tired of giving like an inordinate amount to these facilities just for me to go in and sit there and say, I'll see you in 3 months. Okay, so make sure you put your comments below. I want to know which yogurt person you were. Were you 1, 2, or 3? I want to know what your non-scale wins have been so far. And I want to know who you went and looked up, what you found that was interesting, and the link to where you found it. Because knowledge is power. And I feel like a lot of these videos, people are just listening for something that they want to get mad about so that they can blow up the comments instead of actually listening to understand the point behind it, which is in fact one of humanity's biggest problems. I know for a fact that I do this, because I do. It's everybody. All right, I will see you guys next week. Like I said, I did obtain an additional 4 set of the 2.5 milligrams. So I had today, I also have next week, and then I have an additional 4 on hand. So I should be able to do the next few weeks through at least the next month and a week or so for videos, for updates for you all. My total weight down so far since Valentine's Day is right here, and I'm pretty happy with that. I'm happy with my scale win. I'm happy with my non-scale wins, and hopefully this week doesn't also blow up into a whole lot of people just getting angry about everything, because it's really, there's no point. There's just no point. It's Derby week. It's Derby week. If y'all want to go bet on a horse, tell me what horse you're betting on down below too. If you're a bettor, tell me what horse you like, and we'll see who bet correctly next week. All right, everybody, thank you for following me. Again, I'm Jen at KetosisMom. You can follow me right here on YouTube by hitting the subscribe button, and also that little bell tells you when I've got new videos coming up. You can also follow me on Instagram at KetosisMom. I'm also on Instagram and Like to Know It over at Living Large and Lily if you are more of a fashion person, because it's a little more upbeat than this. It's a little more happy. You guys can follow me over there as well, and I will see you guys next week. Bye, y'all.